Hello, Blazers. Welcome to episode 117 of UAB Green and Told. Original release Monday, February 12th, 2024. Through this podcast, we're able to share stories from members of the UAB community. Want to check out past episodes? Visit alumni.uab.edu/greenandtold, Spotify, or the Apple Podcast app. And while there, leave a written review so more alums can find us. I'm Greg Berry, a UAB alum and Director of Communications in the Office of Alumni Affairs. You and me together could do anything, baby. If you know today's podcast guests, then you know that they likely have sung those words by Dave Matthews Band often. Will and Kathryn Bates are avid DMB fans and huge supporters of everything green and gold. The couple met in dental school when they had two distinctly different roles.
I was like this self-made social chair of dental school, and so I came in and I was the one that planned all the parties and the get-togethers and all that kind of stuff. And Will was really upset. So Will was our dental school class president.
And you know that saying, have a Coke and a smile? Well, Will and Kathryn get it, especially Kathryn, who ultimately discovered Will was the one when she was having a bad day.
Will walked up and handed me a Coke bottle. And that was like the smallest gesture, but I don't know. It was just one of those moments where I was like, okay, I think you might be the one.
And as we'll learn, even the best laid plan for Will's perfect proposal was almost sidetracked, or perhaps almost like pulling teeth.
I had on sweatpants and a Old Smoky Moonshine like baseball t-shirt. And Will said, "Is that what you're gonna wear?"
A dentist enters a room and asks, "Can you help me?" Scream as loud as you can, like you're in a lot of pain. Perplexed, a patient responds, "Why, my tooth isn't hurting me." The dentist replies, "Because there are a bunch of patients in the waiting room and I don't want to miss a game." Okay, so it's probably a little extreme, but for doctors Will and Kathryn Bates, that kind of conversation wouldn't surprise me. You see, they're diehard Blazers and huge supporters of the green and gold. And while UAB brought them together in dentistry school, Will chose the South Side for his undergraduate experience with the intent of working on teeth.
Dentistry was always kind of the end goal. So whenever I first started looking and applying for colleges, I applied in Alabama and Georgia, far away as North Carolina, but really kind of all in the Southeast. But then I remember I came to my UAB campus tour. Amy Atkinson was the trailblazer lead at that time. She was in charge of admissions, and I know her role has changed a lot since then. But I was the only one on the tour that day, and I, talked to her about goals of going into dental school, and kind of dentistry was kind of always the end goal. And that day, on the day that I was there for that tour, she had just found out about the EdSat program. UAB had always had the MSAT program for the early acceptance for medical school, and they were just developing that for dentistry and optometry. So it stars aligned, and she kind of gave me that information. And I knew I had to make a certain ACT score at that time. So I really started putting my nose down and trying to focus on getting those grades to where they needed to be. And then I ended up becoming accepted for the EdSat program. That I knew what sealed the deal as far as going to UAB.
You mentioned you knew you wanted to be a dentist. What was the draw to working with teeth?
It's funny. So my dad's an aerospace engineer. My mom is a technical writer and English teacher. So there's no healthcare in my family whatsoever. Healthcare is always interesting. It's a service industry, and I wanted to provide a service in the healthcare setting. But I knew I didn't want to deal with life and death. So I knew medicine, I was not interested in that. And I liked my dentist growing up, and I really liked my orthodontist growing up. And I always thought it was neat to, see how they could have a small business and provide for patients as well as staff and a team. That business kind of side to it, as well as being able to provide healthcare without, life or death situations, is what really kind of drew me towards dentistry early on.
You were at UAB right around the 2010 era, just for a time frame. What was it like on campus? You're one of the younger people that we've talked to, so It's probably more contemporary to what we have now, but things have definitely changed.
For sure. They're changing almost every day when I go down there. So when I came for my campus tours, it was in, 2007, and I started in 2008. So when I came, the campus green they were tearing it down because it used to be 15th Street, right? So my campus tour, it was all blocked off because they were still clearing it to turn it into the green. And then like my first day on campus was the green they had just laid down all the sods. So you couldn't walk, you still couldn't walk on the campus green. The trees were really young. So that was my first interest to campus, was that it was changing from this more of a commuter campus at that time, and it was turning into a true, blended campus, becoming more of a traditional style with trees and green grass and areas for people to spend time outside. So that was really neat. I lived in Blazer Hall. I think it was, maybe 2 years old at that time. And then really since then, it's just skyrocketed over the past, I guess it's been over 12 or 10 years now since I've graduated.
Yeah.
Will, what was dating like back when you were an undergrad?
I don't know. Dating, it was fine. I really focused more on like school and things like that. And so I dated some, and I was involved in Greek life and other campus organizations. So I would say most people that I met were in those extracurricular organizations and activities. Dated, a girl my freshman year, and then another girl for a couple of years, starting my sophomore year, until I finally found the one sitting here next to me. Yeah.
I ask that because you guys got together in dental school at UAB. Did you guys start at the same time?
We did, yeah. So we were in the same class, and Kathryn went to Birmingham Southern, so we had been in the same city for years, and we had tons of mutual friends. I mean, it really was amazing that whenever I was starting dental school, I'd have friends say, "Oh, I grew up with this, with Kathryn, and she, I think, is starting in your class," and one of her best friends I went to middle school with. So it's just kind of funny. And then we both started dental school when we were fairly newly single at that time.
We came into dental school swearing we're not going to date somebody in our class. Like, why would you do that? Because it's a very tight-knit group. There's only like 60 of us.
It's a bad idea.
54, 60, 63 of us or something like that. So we kind of came in and we both were very like, we're not going to date anybody in our class. But I thought he was a little weird, and he thought I was a little annoying.
So, a little loud and annoying, yeah.
A little loud and annoying. But really by like December, so maybe 6 months into our first year, I mean, we just couldn't fight it anymore, So anyway, and then we started dating, and then we were engaged by third year and married by fourth. So
what was it about his weirdness that was so odd?
That drew me in? No, just kidding. I don't know. He's really just a really like personable person. And he was always really nice. And I don't know why that threw me off, but his sense of humor is the best. He is the best. He's funny. He makes me laugh all the time. So that's what got me in the end. Yeah. He's also good looking, but his humor is his number one trait, I would say.
And Kathryn, you say that he felt you were a little annoying, a little loud and boisterous. I've known you now for several years, and I don't see that. So Will, was that true?
Yeah. I've mellowed her out a lot over the past, we've married almost 7 years now.
Yeah.
She still has her moments for sure.
I am. Yeah. Well, I came in, I was like this self-made social chair of dental school. And so I came in and I was the one that planned all the parties and the get-togethers and all that kind of stuff. And Will was really upset. So Will was our dental school class president, and he thought that I was gunning for his position. So he thought that I was going to, be president, which I did not want. I just wanted to throw all the parties and have people have fun. So, but yes, I have mellowed out in my old age, and Will has had that effect on me, but I still get excited. But also, you see me at UAB events, and Will is like,
she has to be on her best behavior.
I have to be on my best behavior at all times. So
now bingos, when we come to the bingo event, that's a different story. She can get excited.
Yeah, that's true.
Kathryn, did you realize when you met him and when you started dating that he's like the UAB guy? I mean, he was involved in everything as an undergrad.
The UAB guy. Yeah. I mean, I knew that, but I guess I didn't really realize like the impact it would have on our lives, because now I feel like we are the UAB couple. And like you said, I mean, I went to Birmingham Southern, so I feel I don't give a lot of my attention to Birmingham Southern like I should, because I'm preoccupied with UAB stuff all the time, which I love. And my best degree really is from UAB. That's my dental degree. So, but I didn't realize the level of UAB Green and Gold. His heart bleeds every day.
Well, and really, because whenever you start in dental school, also, most people, there's a handful from UAB, but a lot of people are from out of state, or they went to, Alabama or Auburn or, state schools. So for me, I was the one, crying UAB all the time because I wanted to make sure that everybody in my class knew that it doesn't matter where they came from for undergrad, they're now Blazers. They're now at UAB.
You're a UAB fan now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the first interaction like when I assume, Will, you asked Kathryn out on a date?
Yeah, I would say our first date was around December.
Or between Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Sometime between Thanksgiving and Christmas. So I would say before then, we really kind of became friends first, which I think is a great way to, start dating somebody. But, our dental school class was about 60 people. We were all pretty close and pretty tight knit. But then we also had another group of 10 to 12 of us that would study together or, spend some time together, take take our dogs on walks together, things like that. And so and Kathryn was in that friend group that I was also in. So we initially just started spending time together and, going to Barron's games as a groups and things like that. And then we would study together for different classes in dental school. And then one day I realized, I think she might like me and I should probably ask her if she'd want to go to dinner. And so I did, and we went to dinner, and I think it was like right after a big fundamentals exam. So we're learning all the systems of the body.
We had just pulled an all-nighter for a big exam, and then we decided to go to dinner that night. So both of us were a little
exhausted at dinner.
Out of it, exhausted. The wine took full effect after one glass. It was kind of like, oh man, maybe we should not. But we tried to keep things kind of under wraps because again, we were all kind of close, so we didn't really want people to know because we weren't really sure yet. And once the news comes out, then everybody knows in class. So we did try to keep it under wraps for a little bit. And really, we weren't the only dental school couple. I think within our class,
we were the first.
We were
class.
No, we weren't.
Well, we're not.
Matt and Kim were first.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But they're also married now and expecting their second child. So
yeah.
But I think there's 4 or 5 of us that all got married. So we had a lot of couples in our class.
Yeah.
We were second.
When you spend 40 plus hours together a week with somebody, it's something people are bound to end up dating.
Yeah.
Where was that first date at?
We actually went to Firebirds in Hoover, which was the food's good. It's not. Looking back, I wish we'd gone to Gianmarco's or somewhere very Birmingham local. But that was at that time we were broke dental students, and so Firebirds was really nice.
That's nice.
So here you are. You start dating December-ish of your first year in dental school. What was it like dating? Because you mentioned, you're a close-knit group of students, only 60 of you in the entire class. A, how did you keep it from the other people for a while? And B, how challenging was it? Because you're already spending 40 hours a week together just in class plus study time.
We didn't do a very good job at keeping it under wraps. We tried, but I think by January, February, everybody knew. So we really weren't that good at it. So
well, it's one of those things where it's you worry are our faculty going to care if we're dating, things like that. But they see that kind of stuff every year. So it's not like we're anything special from one class to another.
I mean, we spent so much time together. Do we even actually go out on dates after our first date?
Yeah, we did. Well, we would, pick up dinner and go study together.
Yeah.
Things like that. But I would say that really, we had common goals, right? The common goal was to get through dental school and graduate. So, from a, compatibility standpoint, that worked out really well because we were, in the same situation together.
And we were each other's support group.
Yeah, we could support each other.
Still are.
Still are for sure. But but she I was Bates in the class and her maiden name is Turner. So even on an average work day or average school day, alphabetical order, she's at the other end of the room. So I'm not seeing her, I didn't see her enough to where I got sick of her. So that's good.
So Kathryn, when did you know Will was the one?
Okay, actually I do have the story. So I don't know, we had been dating maybe 6 or 8 months. No, almost a year. And we were on our way to Washington, D.C. to go run the Army 10 miler, which is a race that we run with my family and some family friends every year. and we missed our flight. And so I was like very emotional about it. I was very upset because we had plans and we were missing some planes that we hadn't set. And we basically missed the plane by like 2 minutes. Like we watched them close the door. And, once they close that door, they don't let you pass.
Yeah.
And so I'm really angry about it. And I just, and I'm just, and he kind of knows me at this point to just be like, all right, I'm going to walk away. I'm going to give you like your minute and then I'll come back and find you, So in my family, like we're huge Coca-Cola people. And so my mom always calls it like, that's her stiff drink. She doesn't really drink. So Coca-Cola is her stiff drink, like at the end of a hard day or something. And so Will walked up and handed me a Coke bottle. And that was like the smallest gesture. But I just remember, if you know me, like I love Coca-Cola and it's like one of my, I don't know, I just love it. And so that was Will's like peace offering, I guess. And it just, I don't know, it was just one of those moments where I was like, okay, I think you might be the one. It's a silly moment, but.
Will, was it around that same time that you knew that Kathryn was the one?
All those years kind of blend together looking back now. But for me, so my, growing up, studying was what I needed to focus on. Didn't need to focus on dating girls and, anything outside of studying. So my dad never really showed a lot of interest in me dating people. But then when Kathryn and I started dating, my dad was, I was dating somebody in dental school, right? So she's going to, be very successful. So he wanted to meet her. And he actually lives out in Seattle now. So he flew the two of us out to Seattle to go meet him so that Kathryn could meet him. If you've ever been to Seattle in Pike Place Market, they have
the fish market.
There's like a fish market there, and they're famous for like throwing the fish and catching the fish, right? So we went over there, and they don't let you throw them anymore, but they will let you catch them. And I said, okay, that's great. She would love to do that.
Yeah, Will said she'd love to catch one. Can she do it? And I'm like, wait a second, what?
Yeah. So she gets back there behind the counter, and the guy probably goes 10 yards away, and it's just this probably
it was a big
20-pound fish that they're going to throw to her.
A two-hander.
Yeah, two hands. And so they have her practice a couple of times, and then they do one big throw. And sure enough, she like catches it with her body, and it just like does a great job. And we got it all on videotape. And I just remember my dad just thought it was the most awesome thing he had ever seen, and I did too. And
I caught the fish at Pike Place Market, and I did it so gracefulully.
I mean, it was just the athletic ability was really incredible.
It's basically a game-winning touchdown pass.
That's when I knew. I was like, this is somebody that, we had been friends first. We started dating. We've become best friends ever since. And I mean, that when it comes to spending the rest of your life with somebody, you want to do it with your best friend. And that was kind of a moment for me that I could hang out with her for a long time.
Will also realized I was the one when he realized that I also like Dave Matthews.
That's true.
And I would go with him to all of the concerts that we've been to.
Yeah.
So
that was key.
That was key.
Kathryn, take me through the proposal. Did you expect it, and what was it like?
Oh, okay. Yes. Well,
yeah.
I was renting a house in Homewood at the time, and it was around Thanksgiving.
It was,
November. So I was living in Homewood at the time, and my roommate, I came home after class, and my two roommates that were also in dental school, they were like cleaning up the house, like whirlwind cleaning and like raking the leaves up front. And I was like, what are y'all doing? It's like, we never do that. And they're like, oh, we're just, trying to tidy up everything. Like, it's not a big deal. And I said, okay, well, like, can I help? So that was clue number one. Like, why are my roommates raking the leaves in the yard? They've never done that before. And then the next morning, we were going to go to the Vulcan to go. There's like a trail at the Vulcan that you can go and like walk down. So we were going to take Rue, our dog, and we were going to go for a walk. And I had on sweatpants and a Old Smoky Moonshine like baseball t-shirt. And Will said, is that what you're gonna wear? And I was like, yeah, we're just going for a walk. He said, oh, well, maybe you don't want to wear that. And I said, okay, fine. So I put jeans on, still have my Old Smoky Moonshine baseball tee on. So I at least put jeans on, but I thought that was weird. Like, why did he tell me anyway? And so I'm like, well, okay, whatever. And so then we go up to the Vulcan, and we park there, and we walk up, and I'm like, I don't think that we can get from the trail from here. And he's like, yeah, we can. And I'm still pretty sure he's wrong, but I'm just going along with it anyway. And then we get up there, and I can kind of tell he's like kind of nervous, and he's like kind of being weird, and he's like kind of trying to be romantic, and like we're not a super romantic couple. And so I thought that was kind of odd. And then all of a sudden I like turn around and he's on one knee, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And like people are, there weren't a lot of people up there, but people were starting to look at us. And so then like I also got down on one knee.
Yeah.
Because I was like, okay, this is a private moment, like no one watch, So we had some random strangers like took pictures of us, and we're both like down on one knee, and Rue's in there too, like trying to figure out like what are we doing? And Will's brother was there and taking pictures, and then we go home, and all of our families are at our house, which is while my roommates were raking the leaves and cleaning and everything. So we had a big engagement party and stuff afterwards. So it was fun, and it was very Birmingham-y. We love Birmingham, so the fact that we got engaged at the Vulcan just makes it even better. We love the Vulcan, so.
Will, how nervous
I thought it was a good day.
I was very, very nervous, and because I'd been planning this for months, I had to coordinate with her roommates so that they could have everything ready for people over afterwards. And I had to also start planting seeds earlier on for us, why on this random Saturday morning are we going to take Rue for a walk at the Vulcan when we've never done that before, right? So in the months leading up to that, I had mentioned it in passing, like, oh, we should do this sometime. And then I kind of kept bringing up, taking real walks like Red Mountain Park or Villa Vulcan. And so when it kind of came to this morning, I was like, hey, we should do this on this Saturday morning. And so it was like, we had been talking about it. So it didn't sound too out of the blue. But I remember driving up there, and I had a 06 Honda Accord, and the ring was in like the cup holder to the left side as I was driving. So then I had to like sneak it into my pocket as I got out of the car, and I'm very nervous, and so just like trying to just kind of shaking on the inside how this is all going to play out, because I knew my brother was hiding at a certain point, but I didn't know where he was going to be hiding up at the Vulcan. So I had to like do it at a certain position and hope that he had the right angle for pictures, which he didn't, of course. So we got
a lot of the back of my head.
A lot of the back of her head, yeah. But it all worked, and she had no idea. And that my goal was that for Kathryn to be surprised, and I think she was.
Yeah. The only thing that I had like a weird split second thought when you told me I should change.
Yeah.
But other than that, so yeah, but you did a really good job. I was super surprised.
So from what I gather, and I've heard this from several different people, when you're in a professional school, because of all of the time that you're with each other, they become your best friends. Your classmates become groomsmen, bridesmaids, stuff like that. Did you have a big UAB contingent part of your party?
For me, on my side, it was undergrad buddies and then dental school buddies. Undergrad was UAB, so all my friends from UAB. So I think we had 10 people each.
10 each.
Yeah.
It was big. It was too big, really, but it was fun, and we loved it. And we got married here in Birmingham, and lots of dental school people in our wedding.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because we also, getting married while we're in dental school, we invited, most of our class and some of our faculty that we were really close with. And then also, undergrad friends and some high school friends. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, getting married a little bit later in life is harder because there's more people that because you've been through all these different transitions in life. And so that means more people you got to hope to invite to the wedding, right?
Yeah.
Yope and Bates Orthodontics together. Mm-hmm. It's a family-run business.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the boss?
It depends on Rue. Yeah, Rue.
Rue is the boss. Is the real boss.
It depends on the task. Starting out, we kind of both were trying to do everything, and then I would step on her toes or she would step on my toes, and so we've kind of gotten to the point now where I work on certain things and Kathryn works on certain things, and so I say we're both the boss, but when it comes to the task, one person is going to take charge over the other.
Yeah, it depends on the task at hand. He's he was a business major and I was a biology major, so when it comes to running the business, he is the boss because I have no idea how to do any of that. But
when it comes to social media, I'm not a big social media guy, and she knows that world.
Yeah, so I'm more of like the social media coordinator or the marketing coordinator. I don't have any experience in that either, but I'm better at it than he is, so I get to do it.
Absolutely.
That's Doctors Will and Kathryn Bates. While Will earned his Bachelor of Science in Accounting from the Collat School of Business and Honors College in 2012, both earned their Doctor of Medicine in Dentistry in 2017 from the School of Dentistry. This couple is a die-hard UAB Blazer family and have a great idea of what it means to be a Blazer.
So for me, being a Blazer means giving back to the institution that defined who I am today. And I think that UAB was the most impactful and I would say influential entity in my life so far. And so for me, being a Blazer means giving back to that and hoping that hoping that UAB can continue to have that impact for others like it did for me.
I think being a Blazer is just really, the word community comes to mind because, like you said, I didn't start out a Blazer. I started out a Panther at Birmingham Southern. So then when I, came to dental school, again, you're there for more of a grad school type thing. And so that I just feel like UAB really, accepted me into the community. And then now whenever we go to UAB events, I love seeing all the people that I've met and everybody's always so warm and welcoming. And then, we, as Will said, we try to give back and, I try to give back to be that warm and welcoming face for somebody new that's coming to UAB or, we have UAB students here that shadow him all the time, or we have dinner with different students. And so it's just really just creating that network and that community. We're just really proud to be part of that community and be a Blazer.
Be sure to check out past episodes of the UAB Green and Told podcast. Listen in at alumni.uab.edu/Green and Told. Have a story to share or know someone who does? Email greenandtold@uab.edu. Finally, be sure to follow us on social media. Just search UAB Alumni on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Thanks for listening, and until next time, go Blazers.